Greetings survivors and friends, SHADOWFRAX here with your weekly news upkeep, and first up, as you may have just been able to tell, global networked bases are now on staging. To recap, what that means is that soon all bases, no matter where they are, will be visible across the map, if you're in a position to see them. For instance, jetting around in your new super affordable attack chopper. This also means no nasty surprises and sudden lag spikes when the largest base on the server tries to load in up your nose, and all this should hopefully come at very little performance impact overall. It's based on similar principles to how trees and other bits of the landscape have been visible across the map for quite a while now. Anyway, the fact that it's on staging now is a good indication that it'll be in September's patch, but as always, everything is, of course, subject to change. Another thing that's subject to change is the attack chopper shown last week, also on staging right now for testage. It was obviously too much fun to begin with, so its speed and agility have been reduced quite a bit, and its fuel tank capacity has shrunk from 1,000 to 500 low grade. Hang on though, look at the size of those tanks compared to the minicopter one that holds 1,000. That doesn't make sense. Ah, yes, that's because mini fuel tanks use TARDIS technology, don't you know? There's always a lot more empty space inside than you think. A bit like my wallet. Oh yes, that makes sense. The gunner screen is now a bit simpler too, with the reminders about which button does what removed, and the display is a higher res, supposedly. Doesn't look like it. It'll also go offline in a safe zone, although it's still possible to fire into one from a distance. And solos rejoice, as now the pilot can fire rockets with either mouse button. And just to confirm, all types of rockets currently work, but honestly Gov, when I tested it last week, normal ones didn't. Plus, as mentioned last week, most stuff being worked on at the moment is sky-based. Even the global network bases mentioned at the start, as those are primarily for people flying about the landscape quickly. And there are some other related things, although I hasten to add the ETA on these hasn't been confirmed yet, such as hot air balloon armor, presumably on the basket. Not known if this will be included on all of them or whether you'll need to buy it and pop it on, and parachutes, which have also been getting a lot of love in the commits log. Some of the latest work and changes to these include making them a bit harder to shoot down, taking 4 rifle shots at the moment, and to reduce the time to pick up unpacked shoots from 12 seconds to 8. There are also some changes to the end-of-wipe flybys to change the model and FX to something more believable. In other works in progress, backpacks, which were a Hack Week project to start with, but which now look like they're being strapped down by the team in earnest, have been getting a lot of attention this last week too. Seems like there'll be some kind of nested inventory inside your main one, accessible by clicking on them. It also looks like you might be able to wear a backpack and a parachute at the same time. There will apparently be different colour backpacks too, and they'll drop off of you when you die. There's a homing missile launcher being worked on, which I think may also be linked to all this sky stuff as a countermeasure, and the very latest thing, which I mentioned right at the end of last week's vid, is work on a scrap plane. And the idea of this seems remarkably popular already, despite the need for some kind of run-up for taking off and landing, I'd assume. Again, this is something that was done with mods a long time ago, and which I covered in another vid. Props to those responsible. Will it look anything like this? Time will tell, of course, and I will show you as soon as I get images. Along with all this, there's work, as mentioned, to make unattended boats drift slowly to shore, a tutorial island to introduce noobs to the horrors of Rust, and which hopefully has a section on hackers. Weapon racks should be coming in next month's patch, I believe. Not sure yet whether they'll be paid DLC or free for all. Further out, there are 2 more building skin sets, which will definitely be DLCs, Brutalist and Frontier, art and FX refreshes for the Quarries, Bradley and Scopes, plus what looks like another rework to Cliffs possibly, and of course, the Nexus system for linking together certain groups of servers, and which will be the most game-changing change since being able to place Pookie Bears on workbenches. Lots of stuff in the pipe, as you can tell, and you know I'll keep you current if you stay tuned in, so sub if you're not already, and leave a like if you enjoyed this vid. Let me know in the comments what you think of these upcoming changes. Come and join me on Twitch for streams. You'll find links to all my socials below, including my Steam group where you can stay updated on my content. And if you'd like to support me, you can do so with super thanks, YouTube memberships, and on Patreon. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. Bit like my wallet. Oh yes.